The red alert blared through Proxima Station as Captain Lisa Murray raced toward the command center. Her boots echoed on the metal floor as she ran. The station shook again, another hit from the alien ships. Lisa burst into the command center, where screens showed a terrible sight: 20 large alien ships surrounding the station. They were dark green with sharp points and glowing weapons. "Report," Lisa ordered, trying to hide her fear. Officer Paul Green looked up from his screen, face pale. "They came from nowhere, Captain. No warning. They destroyed our outer defenses, in minutes." Lisa moved to the main console where the station's damage report flashed red. 5,000 colonists now trapped. The outer sections breached. Air shields holding but power dropping. "Who are they?" Lisa asked, staring at the strange ships. "They call themselves the Ketrax," said Diane Miller from the communications station. Her hands shook as she worked. "They've been sending messages since the attack began." Lisa stood straight. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life. A large alien appeared, tall with green-scaled skin, yellow eyes, and jaw parts that clicked together when it spoke. 4 arms crossed over its armored chest. "I am War Commander Vex Thor of the Ketrax Imperium," the alien said through a translator. Its voice sounded cold and mechanical. "Your station is now ours. Your people belong to us. Surrender now." Lisa felt her skin go cold but kept her face calm. She couldn't show fear. "Not now." "How many colonists are safe?" she asked. Lieutenant Eric Ward checked his tablet. "About 5,000 made it to the central dome before the outer sections were hit. We've sealed the emergency doors." Lisa nodded. The central dome, their last defense. Built to withstand storms and radiation, it now protected them from alien invaders. "What about our defense ships?" Lisa asked, though she already knew the answer. "Gone," Security Chief Ryan Peters said, his face grim. "The Ketrax destroyed them in the first wave. They didn't stand a chance." Lisa walked to the window that overlooked the colony. Through the clear dome, she could see people huddled together, families, children, workers, all looking up at the alien ships that now blocked the stars. "They're calling again," Diane said, her voice barely a whisper. Lisa straightened her uniform. "Put them through." Vex Thor appeared again, those yellow eyes staring without blinking. "Your time ends, humans," the alien said. "Your colony will serve the Imperium. Your people will work in our mines. Your children will learn to serve. This is the way of all worlds that meet the Ketrax." Lisa kept her face blank. "We need time to consider your terms." The alien made a sound like stones grinding together, a laugh. "You have 6 hours. Then we break your dome and watch you die in space." The screen went dark. Lisa turned to her team. Their faces showed what she felt inside: fear, anger, despair. "Options?" she asked. Ryan Peters shook his head. "Fight? With what? We have a few hand weapons, but nothing that can stop those ships." "We could try to hide in the underground levels," suggested Eric. "Buy some time." "Time for what?" Ryan asked. "No one knows we're under attack. Earth is 12 light years away. The other colonies can't help us." As they argued, Chief Engineer Alan Phillips entered, holding a small device in his hands. "Captain," he said, "I might have something." He placed the device on the table, a small metal cylinder with blinking lights. "An emergency beacon," Alan explained. "The strongest we have. If we can launch it past their ships, it might reach Earth." "Earth?" Ryan laughed without humor. "What could Earth do? Everyone knows they have no real military. The Colonial Defense Fleet is just a few patrol ships. They haven't built war vessels. In 50 years, Lisa looked at the beacon, then at the frightened faces around her. They didn't know. How could they? It was Earth's best-kept secret. "Launch the beacon," she ordered. "Captain," Ryan argued, "even if Earth receives our call, what could they possibly send? They have no weapons that could stand against these aliens." Lisa met his eyes. "You don't know everything about Earth, Ryan. None of you do." Her team stared at her. "What do you mean?" Diane asked. Lisa looked back at the alien ships through the window. "Why do you think Earth sends a high-ranking military officer to command each colony? Even peaceful research stations like ours? Before anyone could answer, the station shook again. Another hit. Status, Lisa called. Shield generators at 60%, Alan reported. They're testing our defenses. Lisa made her decision. Alan, prepare the beacon. Add all the data we have on the Ketrak ships. Their weapons, their shields, everything. Alan nodded and took the beacon to his workstation. You really think Earth can help us? Eric asked quietly. Lisa didn't answer directly. When I was in command training, I saw things, ships being built in secret bases, weapons tested far from public view, plans for dangers we hoped would never come. If Earth has such defenses, why not tell the colonies? Ryan asked. Because, Lisa said, the best defense is one your enemy doesn't know exists. An hour later, the tiny beacon shot away from the hidden maintenance port. It was barely bigger than a human hand, small enough to slip past the Ketrak's blockade. Lisa watched on the monitor as it disappeared into space. Now we wait, she said. And we prepare. Prepare for what? Ryan asked. To fight? To surrender? Lisa looked at the frightened faces of her crew. We prepare to survive. We have food and water for about 2 weeks if we ration carefully. We need to last that long. 2 weeks won't matter if they break the dome in 6 hours, Eric said. Then we negotiate, Lisa replied. We stall. We do whatever it takes to buy time. As her crew moved to carry out her orders, Lisa stared at the stars visible between the sea. Alien ships. Somewhere out there, her message was racing toward Earth at light speed, 12 light years away. Come on, she whispered to herself. Prove me right. Deep under the Pacific Ocean on Earth, General Catherine Wright stood in a large room filled with screens and busy workers. Red lights flashed as a message appeared on the main screen. General, called Major Steve Rogers, we have an emergency signal from Proxima Station. Catherine walked closer, her gray hair cut short around her stern face. Show me. The screen displayed the message. Proxima Station under attack. Alien force. Need immediate help. When did this arrive? Catherine asked. Just now, Steve said. The message traveled at light speed for 12 years. Catherine's face showed no surprise, only calm focus. What do we know about the attackers? The beacon carried data, Steve explained, touching his tablet. They call themselves the Ketraks. Reptilian species, advanced weapons, 20 warships. Catherine studied the images of the alien ships. Analysis? Their weapons are plasma-based. Shields use energy we haven't seen before, but nothing we can't handle. Catherine nodded slowly. She had waited for this day her entire career, the day when Earth would need to reveal its true strength. Colonel. Ben Harris, she called. A tall man with dark skin stepped forward. Yes, General? Initiate Operation Sleeping Giant. Authorization code, Thunderchild. The room went silent. Everyone stopped working. All eyes turned to Catherine. Are you certain, General? Ben asked quietly. Once we activate the fleet, there's no going back. The galaxy will know. 5,000 colonists are trapped, Colonel, Catherine said. What would you have me do? Ben straightened. Understood. I'll send the alert. Catherine turned to the room. I want all Dreadnoughts ready in 3 days. Contact all veterans. Priority Alpha. As people rushed to carry out her orders, Catherine walked to a quiet corner where a simple picture hung on the wall. Earth's last public warship being dismantled 50 years ago. Below it, words read, To seek peace, prepare for war. In a small house with a garden, Greg Wilson pulled weeds from around his tomato plants. At 65, his hair was white, but his hands were still strong. A small device in his pocket began to buzz, a sound he had never heard in 20 years of carrying it. Greg froze. Slowly, he pulled out the device and read the message. His face grew pale. Nancy, he called to his wife. I have to go. Nancy came outside, wiping her hands on a towel. What's wrong? Greg showed her the device. Nancy's eyes widened. After all these years, it's really happening. Greg nodded. They need me back. 2 hours later, a black car arrived. Greg kissed Nancy goodbye, picked up his small bag, and left without looking back. All across Earth, the same scene played out. 5,000 men and women who had once served on ships no one knew existed received the same message: return to duty. Earth needs you. Under the mountains in North America, inside the oceans, hidden on the far side of the moon, lights came on in massive hangars. Giant ships that had waited silently for decades began to hum with power. On the moon base, Greg walked through the airlock doors and stared in wonder. Before him stretched the largest hangar humans had ever built, carved inside the moon itself. In it sat 7 enormous warships, the Dreadnoughts of Earth. Each ship was over a kilometer long, black as space, with weapons that could destroy entire fleets. For 50 years they had waited here, hidden from the rest of humanity and the galaxy. Commander Wilson, a young officer, greeted him. Welcome back to the EDF Relentless. Greg looked up at the massive ship, his ship from 20 years ago. She still looks good. We've upgraded her every year, the officer said. New engines, better weapons, stronger shields. Greg walked toward the boarding ramp. Crew status? Partial crew maintained at all times. The rest are arriving now, all veterans being called back. Inside the ship, Greg ran his hand along the wall. It felt like coming home. He made his way to the bridge where tech workers prepared consoles and checked systems. Commander on deck, someone called. Everyone stood at attention. At ease, Greg said. We don't have time for formalities. Status report? Engineer Olivia. Price stepped forward. She was young, too young to have served when the ships were built. Reactors coming online, sir. Weapons systems at 80%. We'll be ready in 48 hours. Make it 24, Greg ordered. People are dying while we prepare. Olivia nodded, determination in her eyes. Yes, sir. 24 hours. Greg turned to the main window that looked out over the other ships. What about the rest of the fleet? All 7 dreadnoughts are activating. Admiral Ford will command from the Defiant. Greg nodded. He had served with Heather Ford long ago. She was the best commander in the fleet. In another part of the base, Admiral Heather Ford studied the tactical plans. Her red hair was streaked with gray, but her eyes were sharp as ever. The journey will take 3 days with the Alcubierre drives, she told her officers. We'll arrive at Proxima Station 25 days after their distress call was sent. Hopefully they've managed to survive that long. What do we know about the Ketrax? Asked Captain John Baker. Heather brought up images on the screen. They've conquered 12 other species in the last century. No one has ever defeated them. Then why do you look so confident, Admiral? John asked. Heather smiled slightly. Because, Captain, the Ketrax have never met humans at war. Back on Earth, General Catherine Wright addressed the World Council, the secret group of leaders who had maintained Earth's hidden fleet for generations. For 60 years, we've kept our true strength hidden, she told them. We've let the galaxy believe humans are peaceful explorers with minimal military capability. Today, that deception ends. Is there no other way? Asked one council member. Once revealed, we can never go back to how things were. Catherine shook her head. The Ketrax have attacked our people. They must learn that was a mistake. The council voted unanimously to deploy the fleet. Within hours, the 7 dreadnoughts moved out of their hiding places, their massive engines glowing as they left the moon's shadow. On the Relentless, Greg stood on the bridge as his crew prepared for departure. Young officers worked alongside, recalled veterans all united by a single purpose. Sir, called the communications officer. Message from Admiral Ford. Greg looked at the screen as Heather's face appeared. Greg, she said, it's good to see you back in uniform. Never thought I'd wear it again, he admitted. Your ship ready? She asked. Ready enough, Greg replied. The real question is, are we ready for what comes after? Once we reveal ourselves, everything changes. Heather nodded. For 60 years, humanity has hidden in plain sight. We've let everyone, even our own colonies, believe we were harmless. After today, the galaxy will know the truth. And what truth is that? Greg asked. Heather's eyes hardened. That humanity is not to be trifled with. On the main viewing screen, Earth grew smaller as the 7 Dreadnoughts formed their battle group. Their black hulls absorbed the light of the sun, making them look like moving shadows against the stars. Greg gave the order. All stations prepare for warp jump. Destination, Proxima Centauri. As the Alcubierre drives engaged, bending space around the ships, Greg thought of the colonists waiting for help that they didn't know existed. Help that was now racing across the stars to save them. "Hold on," he whispered. "We're coming." Stars stretched into long lines of light as Earth's secret fleet traveled faster than light. 7 massive warships moved together through space, hidden in bubbles of bent reality. On the bridge of the largest ship, the EDF Defiant, Admiral Heather Ford watched the stars blur past on the main screen. Her red uniform fit perfectly, just as it had 20 years ago when she last wore it. "Status report," she called. Communications Officer Frank Curtis looked up from his station. "All ships report ready, Admiral. We're maintaining formation." Heather nodded. The journey to Proxima would take 3 days using the Alcubierre drives, technology Earth had kept secret from the rest of the galaxy. "Navigation," she called. "How are the warp fields holding?" Lieutenant Nancy Davis checked her screens. "Stable, Admiral. We're traveling at 200 times light speed." Heather allowed herself a small smile. These ships were humanity's greatest achievement. Built in secret, upgraded for decades, and now finally revealed. She pressed a button on her chair. "This is Admiral Ford to all ships. For many years we trained for this day while hoping it would never come. Today we reveal ourselves to an enemy who threatens our people." She paused, looking at the faces of her crew. Some were young officers who had trained their whole lives for this moment. Others were veterans called back to duty. "The colonists at Proxima don't know we exist," she continued. "They believe they stand alone against the enemy, but they are not alone. After today, no one who threatens humanity will ever make that mistake again." On the EDF Relentless, Commander Greg Wilson sat in his quarters reviewing information about the Ketrax. The screen showed images of the reptilian aliens and their ships. The Ketrax had conquered many worlds over hundreds of years. They had good technology, plasma weapons, strong shields, fast ships, but they had grown proud and careless after so many easy victories. A knock sounded at his door. "Enter," he called. Dr. Pamela Hill walked in. She was the ship's head doctor with kind eyes and gray hair. "The crew health checks are complete, Commander. Everyone is ready." Greg nodded. "And how are they feeling? About the mission?" "Nervous," Pamela admitted. "Most have never seen real battle. The younger ones have only trained in simulations. And the veterans, glad to be back, worried about what comes next." Greg closed the screen with the Ketrax information. The Ketrax have conquered 12 different species in the last 100 years alone. No one has ever beaten them in battle. Pamela studied his face. "You don't seem worried." Greg smiled slightly. "The Ketrax won those fights because those species were alone. Proxima Colony thinks they're alone too." He looked out the small window at the twisted space of warp travel. "But they're not, and that will change everything. On the second day of travel," Greg called the senior officers to the ship's meeting room. Maps and images covered the walls. Proxima Station, the Ketrax ship's battle plans. "Our biggest advantage is surprise," Greg told them. "The Ketrax don't know Earth has warships. They expect no resistance." "What about our weapons?" asked Weapons Officer Daniel Cooper. "Will they work against Ketrax shields?" Greg nodded to Science Officer Maria Lee. She stood and touched a screen, showing detailed scans of Ketrax technology. "We've studied the Ketrax for years," she explained. "Every time they attacked another species, we watched and learned. We know how their shields work. Our weapons are designed to break through them." "But they've never seen our ships," said Security Chief William Foster. "They'll know we've been hiding our true strength. Won't that make other aliens distrust us?" Greg looked around the table. "Yes, everything changes after this mission. Earth can no longer pretend to be harmless. The galaxy will know what we really are. And what are we? William asked. Greg's face hardened. A species that protects its own. On the third day, the fleet dropped out of warp space at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. The ships immediately activated their stealth systems, another technology kept secret from the rest of the galaxy. On the Defiance Bridge, Admiral Ford watched as the stars returned to normal points of light. Tactical report, she ordered. Tactical Officer Jason Bennett checked his screens. Sensors show 13 Ketrax warships around Proxima Station. The colony's shields are still up but weak. Are we too late? Heather asked quietly. No, Admiral, Jason replied. The colony still stands. They've held out for 25 days. Heather felt pride swell in her chest. The colonists had survived against impossible odds. Deploy recon drones, she ordered. I want to know everything about those Ketrax ships before we attack. Small unmanned craft shot from the Earth ships invisible to Ketrax sensors. They moved closer to the alien fleet, scanning and recording. In her ready room, Heather recorded a message. This is Admiral Heather Ford of the Earth Defense Force, she said to the camera. To the people of Proxima Station, help has arrived. To the Ketrax Imperium, you have one chance to withdraw. There will not be a second chance. On the Relentless, Greg briefed his attack teams. The Thunderbolts will launch first, he told the pilots. The Thunderbolts were small, fast fighter, ships hidden inside the larger Dreadnoughts. Target their weapons first, he ordered. Then their engines we want to disable, not destroy if possible. Sir? Asked Squadron Leader Jake Martinez. Why not destroy them? Because we're not like them, Greg replied firmly. We're not conquerors. We're protectors. Remember that. As the Earth fleet prepared for battle, the recon drones returned with their data. On the Defiant, Admiral Ford studied the information with her officers. The Ketrax have been attacking the colony in waves, reported Jason. They're trying to wear down the shields. At current rate, the colony has less than 6 hours left. Heather made her decision. All ships to battle stations. Prepare to drop stealth and engage on my mark. Throughout the 7 Dreadnoughts, alarms sounded. Crew members ran to their posts, weapons powered up, shields activated. Fighter pilots climbed into their Thunderbolts. On Proxima Station, Captain Lisa Murray watched in despair as the Ketrax prepared for another attack. The station's shields flickered weakly. Food was nearly gone. People were losing hope. Captain, called Communications Officer Diane Miller suddenly. I'm picking up something strange. Her eyes widened. Multiple objects entering the system. More Ketrax ships? Lisa asked, her heart sinking. Diane adjusted her equipment, confused. No, they're not using Ketrax flight patterns. And there's a message on an Earth frequency. The command center fell silent as Diane put the message on speakers. This is Admiral Heather Ford of the Earth Defense Force to Proxima Station. Hold on. Help has arrived. Lisa stared at the speaker in shock. Earth Defense Force? What Earth Defense Force? She got her answer moments later, when 7 enormous warships appeared less than 10,000 kilometers from the station. Each was 3 times larger than the biggest Ketrax ship, black as space with Earth's flag on their sides. My God, whispered Ryan Peters. Where did those come from? Lisa couldn't answer. She could only watch as Earth's secret fleet, the Dreadnoughts no one knew existed, moved into attack position. The battle for Proxima Station was about to begin. On the main bridge of his ship, Ketrax Admiral Vexithor watched Proxima Station with cold yellow eyes. The human colony had resisted longer than he expected. 25 days of siege, and still they fought. Status of the human shields? Asked. Failing, Admiral, reported his second-in-command. One more bombardment should break them. Vexthor clicked his jaw parts together in satisfaction. Prepare all ships for final attack. I want this colony taken today. Suddenly, a junior officer called out in alarm. Admiral, sensors detect multiple objects appearing at the edge of the system. More human ships? Vexthor asked with amusement. Their patrol vessels are no threat to us. No, sir, the officer said, voice shaking. These are much larger. Before Vexthor could respond, His communications officer called out. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from the new ships." "Show me," Vex Thor ordered. The screen displayed a human female with red hair and a dark uniform. Her face showed no fear as she spoke. "This is Admiral Heather Ford of the Earth Defense Force. Your fleet is attacking citizens of Earth. Withdraw immediately or face destruction." Vex Thor stared in shock as his tactical display updated to show 7 enormous warships moving toward his fleet. Each one dwarfed his largest vessels. "Impossible," he whispered. "Earth has no warships of this size." "Sir," his tactical officer said urgently, "these vessels are heavily armed. Their energy signatures exceed anything in our database." Vex Thor felt the first touch of fear. These ships shouldn't exist. All intelligence showed Earth as a peaceful planet with only small defensive vessels. "It's a trick," he decided. "Some kind of deception." He opened a channel to respond. "This is Admiral Vex Thor of the Ketrax Imperium. Earth has no defense force, no warships of this size. This is a deception." The human admiral's face showed no emotion. "I assure you it's not. You have one chance to retreat. You will not get another." Vex Thor's pride flared. "The Ketrax Imperium does not retreat. We have conquered dozens of worlds. Your colony will fall and your pitiful fleet with it." When the human didn't respond, Vex Thor turned to his crew. "Battle formations, all ships target the largest human vessel." On the bridge of the EDF Defiant, Admiral Ford cut the transmission. "He's made his choice," she said quietly. "Battle stations, deploy thunderbolts." Throughout the Earth Fleet Bay, doors opened. Hundreds of small fighter ships launched into space. Each thunderbolt was piloted by Earth's best, carrying weapons designed to tear through Ketrax shields. Commander Jake Martinez led the first wave. "Alpha Squadron, weapons hot. Target their fighter base first." The thunderbolts streaked toward the Ketrax fleet, moving faster than the aliens could track. Their missiles hit with surgical precision, destroying the launch bays before the Ketrax could deploy their own fighters. On the Defiant, Admiral Ford watched the battle unfold. "All ships execute attack pattern Sierra. Target their command ship." The 7 Dreadnoughts moved with perfect coordination, their massive railguns firing projectiles at incredible speeds. Energy weapons lashed out at the smaller Ketrax vessels. 2 Ketrax ships exploded immediately, their shields failing against weapons they had never encountered. 3 more spun out of control, critically damaged. Inside Proxima Station, Captain Lisa Murray and her crew watched in amazement as Earth's secret fleet tore through the Ketrax ships that had terrorized them for weeks. "How is this possible?" Ryan Peters asked, his earlier doubts forgotten. "Where did these ships come from?" Engineer Alan Phillips shook his head in wonder. "Earth must have been building them in secret for years, decades even." Lisa couldn't take her eyes off the battle. "All this time, they let everyone believe humans were peaceful, that we had no real military power." "While building the most powerful fleet in known space," Ryan finished. As they watched, the Defiant fired its main cannon. A beam of blinding energy cut through space and sliced a Ketrax cruiser in half. On the EDF Relentless, Commander Greg Wilson directed his crew with calm efficiency. "Target their engines, disable rather than destroy if possible." His weapons officer, Lieutenant Daniel Cooper, looked surprised. "Sir, we can end this faster if we just destroy them." "We're here to save our people, not exterminate theirs," Greg explained, "and prisoners might prove useful." The Relentless moved alongside a damaged Ketrax ship, precise shots disabling its weapons and engines without destroying it completely. Into his crippled command ship, Admiral Vex Thor watched in horror as his fleet was systematically torn apart. Half his ships were already destroyed or disabled, the rest were trying to flee. "How is this happening?" he demanded. "Their weapons cut through our shields like they aren't even there." "They know our technology," his science officer realized. "Their weapons were designed specifically to counter our defenses." Vex Thor felt cold fury build inside him. "They've been watching us, learning, planning for this moment." "Admiral," his navigation officer called desperately, "our engines are failing. We must surrender." The Ketrax do not surrender, Vex Thor roared, but as another explosion rocked his ship, he knew he had no choice. Open a channel to the human fleet, he ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. On the Defiant, Admiral Ford received the transmission. This is Admiral Vexus Thor. We request terms of surrender. Ford's face remained calm. Power down all weapons. Prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with immediate destruction. As Earth Marines prepared to board the Ketrax vessels, Ford turned to her communications officer. Open a channel to Proxima Station. On the station, Lisa Murray heard the call. This is Admiral Ford of the Earth Defense Force. Proxima Station, are you receiving us? Lisa's hands shook as she responded. This is Captain Murray. We hear you, Admiral. And thank you. Ford's voice softened slightly. Hold tight, Captain. Medical teams are on their way to you now. The Ketrax fleet has surrendered. As Lisa ended the transmission, she looked around at her exhausted crew. Tears of relief shone in their eyes. We made it, she said simply. Outside the station, Earth shuttles moved toward the colony, carrying doctors, supplies, and fresh food. Around them, the 7 Dreadnoughts stood guard, their black hulls now visible to all, their secret finally revealed. On the Relentless, Greg watched as Marines escorted captured Ketrax officers onto his ship. The aliens looked stunned, unable to comprehend how quickly their victory had turned to defeat. Take them to the secure holding area, Greg ordered. Treat them properly. They're prisoners of war, not slaves. As the aliens were led away, Greg turned to the viewport. In the distance, he could see Proxima Station, damaged but still standing. Its people had held out just long enough. Commander, called his communications officer, Admiral Ford requests your presence on the Defiant for a strategy meeting. Greg nodded. The battle was over, but the real challenges were just beginning. Earth's greatest secret was now exposed to the galaxy. Everything would change, and the Ketrax Imperium had just learned a valuable lesson. Appearances can be deceiving, especially when it comes to humans. 1 week after the battle, Proxima Station buzzed with activity. Earthships brought supplies, doctors, and repair teams. The damage from the Ketrax attack was slowly being fixed. In the main hall of the station, Captain Lisa Murray stood with her crew as Admiral Heather Ford pinned medals on their uniforms. Your courage saved this colony, Admiral Ford told them. You held out against impossible odds, giving us time to reach you. Lisa looked at her tired but proud crew. They had survived 25 days of siege, never knowing if help would come. We still can't believe Earth had such ships, Lisa said quietly to Admiral Ford after the ceremony. All these years we thought Earth was practically defenseless. Ford's eyes showed understanding. That was the whole point, Captain. For 60 years, Earth showed the galaxy a mask, peaceful explorers with minimal defenses. Meanwhile, we built in secret, trained in secret, prepared for the day we would be needed. But why keep it secret from your own colonies? Lisa asked. Because humans talk, Ford replied with a small smile, and secrets spread. The entire galaxy needed to think we were harmless. That meant most humans needed to believe it too. Across the station, Commander Greg Wilson watched as Earth Marines guarded the captured Ketrax officers. The aliens stood, tall despite their defeat, their scaled skin dull under the station lights. Greg approached Admiral Vexus Thor, who was being held separately from his crew. You deceived us, the Ketrax leader said bitterly. Made the galaxy believe humans were weak. Greg nodded. We learned long ago. Appear weak when you are strong. Your mistake was assuming that what you saw was all there was. Vex Thor's yellow eyes narrowed. What happens to us now? You'll be treated fairly, Greg assured him. Unlike how you treat the species you conquer. The alien looked away. The Ketrax Imperium will not forget this defeat. We have conquered 12 species, controlled hundreds of worlds, and now those species will learn that the Ketrax can be beaten. Greg replied. Earth is already reaching out to them, offering alliance and protection. Fear showed in Vexthor's eyes for the first time. You would turn our own conquests against us? We won't need to, Greg said. They'll turn against you on their own, once they know you're not invincible. 2 days later, a message arrived from Earth. The 7 dreadnoughts gathered in orbit. As their captains and senior officers met on the Defiant, Admiral Ford displayed the message for all to see. The secret is out, she told them. Earth has revealed the full extent of our fleet to the galaxy. 20 more dreadnoughts are being brought out of hiding. How are people reacting? Asked Commander Wilson. Mixed, Ford replied. Some colonies feel betrayed that we kept such secrets. Others are celebrating that Earth was stronger than anyone knew. And the other species in the galaxy? Ford smiled slightly. Suddenly very interested in trade agreements and peace treaties with Earth. Over the next few days, news spread across human space. Earth's hidden strength was now known to all. The public learned about the secret bases, the hidden ships, the decades of preparation. On Proxima Station, the repairs continued. In the medical center, Dr. Pamela Hill treated the last of the injured colonists as Lisa Murray stopped by. Will your ship stay to protect us? Lisa asked. Pamela looked up from her work. Some will. Earth is deploying the fleet to all human colonies now. No one will ever think to attack us again. Lisa nodded, relief clear on her face. All those years we thought we were alone out here. You were never alone, Pamela assured her. Earth just made sure no one knew how well protected you really were. In orbit above the station, the EDF Relentless prepared to depart. New orders had come. Travel to the Ketrax homeworld and negotiate terms for peace. On the bridge, Greg Wilson looked at the stars through the main window. For 60 years, humanity had hidden in shadows, building strength while appearing weak. That time was over. Set course for the Ketrax system, he ordered. It's time they learned who we really are. As Earth's dreadnoughts spread throughout human space, the galaxy learned an important lesson. Humanity was not the peaceful, limited species they had appeared to be. They were warriors who had chosen peace, builders who had prepared for war. Those who sought friendship with humans would find no better allies. Those who sought war would find no worse enemies. The end.